Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This one's gonna be a little special. This is an install video, and I wanna show you something that I'm adding to my van today that I think is gonna help anybody who has a van, and especially if you have a Winnebago Revel. So I love the bedroom in our Winnebago Revel. It is super comfy. We've got the Canyon Adventure Vans Luxe mattresses on here, and they are super deluxe. And we also have the Adventure Wagon mule bags. This gives us a lot more storage back here in the bedroom area. But there's one thing today that we have to fix. So about a month ago, I was in here and I went to put my shade and, more importantly, my bug screen that I use every night. And I noticed my bug screen is jammed. Well, I went to the Winnebago Facebook group for the Revel vans, and I looked on there and other people had had the same problem too. And I guess what happens is these blinds, they do work great. They have been awesome for 5 years now, but eventually the little strings in there dig a groove in the plastic and they jam. So I looked at all these crazy fixes. What could I do to fix this? I actually took this off the wall. I took it apart as best I could, and I had a realization. And my realization is, while these blinds have been great over the years, there's something much better. And what I'm gonna show you today is a fix for our blinds. And this is gonna make living in our van, especially back here in the bedroom, quite a bit better. Okay, so let's dive into this a little deeper. Let's see what is going wrong with my blind and talk about the problem a little bit, and then we're gonna jump into how to fix it. But to get these blinds off, there's these little corner clips, and you literally just slide these out. Sometimes they're a little sticky, like that one seems to be a little sticky. Let's see what this one popped right out. If they're sticky, just get your knife, and then you can put it right in the slot here and pry it out a little bit, and it'll pop right out. There. Our bed is also lifted. It's on the Canyon Adventure Vans 6-inch bed riser, which we love that. It gives us so much more space down below, but it does compress this little environment here where our feet live, and it makes things a little tight. So I'm gonna be a little tighter in here than you guys with a stock Revel who don't have the Adventure Wagon mule bag and don't have the bed riser. You're gonna have a lot more room than I do. But either way, the rest of this will all be the same. Let's pull this blind apart. There's one screw in each corner. Boom, one little, what is this, a self-tapper in each corner. I'm just gonna set that to the side. Let's get this one. All right, and then I'm gonna do the same on the bottoms. You know what? This is too tight in here. I'm gonna make some more room here. Let's do it. To get more room, I'm just gonna take this whole part of the bed. This is the cushion that fills in the corner there. I'm just gonna roll this all back. Actually, I'm just gonna I'm gonna take it all the way up to the front. I'm gonna fold the sheets back here to make a little more room. And there we go. Now I can actually get in here. Now, there is a screw here. There we go. I think these two bottom ones are gonna be the hardest for me. Okay, there's 4 more screws here. There's one in the inside of each corner. We're gonna pop these loose right there. There's a little plastic clip in here that once we undo the screw, it comes right out. This top one is a little impinged by the blind itself, the screen. But these screws are put in a little bit at an angle, so as long as you line that up, they'll come right out. Oh, look here, it's starting to come loose. And it's held on by a thread here, the last screw. Let's get this one out. All right, kaboom. There it is, here's our blind. Let me come outside, I'm gonna show you what's going on. All right, here it is. This is our blind. And you will be shocked when you see what's behind here. There's all kinds of mosquitoes. Here's a moth. There's all kinds of crazy stuff back here. It's kind of gross. But the problem, the reason we have this off is because the blind part of this works great, right? It goes up and down just as normal. And it uses these little strings to do that. But the problem is when I go to pull the screen portion, it's just jammed. It's not going anywhere. And I did a little research, and these little ropes run all through this frame. They come up here and they get terminated at the right tension, but they run over a plastic edge. And over time, from every time you move this up and down, those ropes are sawing into that little plastic edge, and eventually they get jammed in there. So I have seen a few people that have pulled these apart. They've plastic welded little bits of plastic in there, and they've made them work again. To me, that seems like a very crafty fix, but something that I don't want to be depending on every night is if I welded the little plastic on. And honestly, I pulled these off to work on them, and I realized the thickness of this blind made a massive difference to me when I was sleeping. This is, my feet are always up against this, and just getting this extra, what is that, maybe an inch, inch and a quarter, getting that extra width, I loved it. There wasn't this thing bumping out into my foot area, and it was great. So with that said, we've got this blind here, and it is gonna go away. I have got the fix for this, and possibly something that's even gonna make the bedroom area far superior. Let's check it out. Look at this thing. This is a blind, if I've ever seen a blind. This is gonna be awesome. So this is by a company called VanMade Gear. They make custom sewn products, all kinds of different things. And when I dove into their website, I was blown away at all the options they have. This blind is made specifically for the Revel. It is called the Revel Nightstand. And why is it a nightstand and not a blind? Well, it is a blind. As you can see here, this unzips, opens up. It's got bug screen in it. You can even then unzip it again and have opening to the fresh air. It is dialed, and the sewing on this and the quality of the zippers is great, but this is the blind portion. But as you're seeing, this is much larger than the stock blind, and it is gonna fill the whole recessed void in there. And why would you wanna do that? Well, it gives you pockets for storage and organization, a place to put your phone at night, I don't know, a million things. You've got all these pockets. This is really cool, and I'm excited to see how this is gonna work. I am a little concerned that it's gonna be a little tight with my bed riser and the Adventure Wagon cabinets that we have in there. So let's put it in there and see how it lines up and fits. Now this thing will slide in, and looky there, that is cool. That is really cool. Okay. So what I'm seeing here is this fills the space out really nice. It gives you lots of organization. I'm a little worried that when I put my mattress back in here though, it's gonna be a little tight in the foot area, and I'm not gonna be able to use some of these pockets. Let me grab the mattress and let's see. Okay, here's the mattress back. I'm gonna push that in. I'm gonna kind of just hold this up to eyeball it. Yeah, that's a little bit of what I was afraid of. Is I love this product. I love the organization. I love the blind, look at that. But I'm afraid by the time I put something in these pockets, my feet are gonna be on it, and I'm gonna be a little too high for this to work the way it was intended. So let's see what it's like when I lay in here. I think the way my toes are here, if I put anything in these pockets, I'm gonna hit them. My feet are basically gonna be on it. I'm gonna be back to the same problem where I have the frame sticking out and my feet have to be out because of it. So this is a little bit of a bummer because I really love the design. I love the way they've come up with this creative problem solving to give us lots of room to store things and organization. But I'm not sure it's gonna fit with my big feet, and especially since they're so high. If you guys are in a stock Revel with the bed in the lower position, I think this is gonna be an amazing option for you. But with my bed raised, I'm not sure it's gonna work so good. But there's another option here. Let's see. Now I looked into this knowing that this could be a problem for me right off the bat. And the cool thing is I can Velcro out the blind portion of this, leave the organizer aside, and now I just have a blind that will cover the window perfectly And I can still have a really nice blind that's gonna be low profile and built to last, but it's also gonna preserve my foot room, which is really important for me. So I think this is the deal. I'm gonna use this part. I'm gonna return this part to them because I don't think it's gonna work in my situation, although I wished it did. And right now today, we're gonna install this. And then after we put this in, I have something even cooler to show you that's gonna go up into the front. Let's get on it. Let's start this install. Okay, so there's just a couple things we need to do this, and luckily a bunch of screws came with this. Same with Velcro. I've got Velcro here that I'm gonna use to install it. I'm gonna need a drill to put the screws in, and I'm gonna need some scissors to cut the Velcro. I think that's all I'm gonna need. We'll see once I get into it. Maybe I'll add something. Let's get going. Let's put this thing in and see how it works. Okay, now we're gonna have some Velcro. I've pre-cut our Velcro to fit the length of the blind. It'll go on like so, which is super easy. As you can imagine, we're gonna put this Velcro on the wall around the window, and the blind will attach to that. Let's do that now. Now I'm feeling on the back of the window, I can feel this little plastic trim that makes the wall. And that is, I'm feeling for this edge, and I'm feeling the edge of the Velcro. And I'm gonna try to basically just get a sense for how tight this thing, it looks like it's a perfect fit actually. So let's try it on the top and bottom. Wow. This Velcro, if I put it right on the edge of where this is cut, I think it's gonna line up perfect for the blind. Now this stuff is gonna overhang the edge a little bit. So I need to kind of work that out, I guess. I'm gonna put on this short little vertical piece because it doesn't go the full length. I'm gonna put this about just like so. And the cool thing is I can look right through this backing and see where it lines up on the frame. And I'm gonna stick down one corner, and then I'm just gonna carefully peel it on. The whole time I'm lining it up with this gray plastic of the wall. Now, if this wasn't such a precise fit, I would use a piece of this painter's tape to basically tape out the edge of where I would want that this Velcro to go. But the way this is gonna be really simple, and I don't think I'm gonna need it. Okay, so I'm gonna take the next piece, and I've got the backing still on it. Let's see, and I'm gonna line up this corner to the corner of the tape we just pulled, the Velcro. I'm gonna peel back a little bit, and I am just gonna stick this down to where it makes a nice 90-degree edge, just like so. And now I can peel this back and stick it down right to the edge of the plastic and make a nice strip that goes along. Super easy. And then I'm gonna do the same thing here down on the bottom side. I'm gonna line this up. This one is a little off, but I can still eyeball it and it's gonna be totally a-okay. This piece here was my little last scrap piece. So it actually could have been about 3/4 of an inch longer to be perfect, but I didn't want to waste a whole nother piece of Velcro just for 3/4 of an inch. So hopefully I don't regret that, but I don't think I will. And I'm just gonna stick this down just like the others. Okay, I'm gonna stick that down. Okay, one more to go. And this one's easy, it just fills the void. All right, same thing. Peel this off and run it right along the edge. All right, we got it stuck down. Now we're gonna do one more step before we put the blind in that's just gonna make this more solid, because you know, Velcro, especially adhesive backed Velcro, when it gets hot, what happens to adhesives? They lose their grip. So we wanna make sure that this stays put, even when the van is roasting hot in the summer. This is gonna make a big difference. Okay, so we're gonna put these screws in, And we're gonna try to just put them evenly spaced, and we're gonna secure this Velcro to the wall mechanically. So I'm just gonna keep going around, putting screws in kind of evenly spaced. Now as this goes in, as soon as that comes snug, we wanna quit screwing with the screwdriver, because we could drill that whole hole out and then the screw isn't really holding anything on. So as soon as you feel a little tension on the screw head, let off, because it is just going into plastic. These kind of go in like butter. So in full disclosure, after my old blind broke, I reached out to VanMade Gear and they offered to send me one for free. And I liked it so much that here I am making a video about it. Okay. All right, those screws should hold it now. Let's test fit this. So the cool thing is this Velcro is on and off, and I can flip it either way if I want to try it one way or the other. So do you want your blind as a frowny face or a smiley face? I think when I get woken up sleeping, I'm usually a frowny face. So let's start off with a frowny face, because I like the idea of being able to unzip this halfway and then just kind of roll this in on itself and get a little more privacy in the van, but yet still get some airflow. Okay, now for me and my OCD, I'm gonna really want this centered as best I can and level. But let's see here. How about like that? That looks pretty good. Oh, wow. That is great. And looky here. Open this up. You can tuck this down. And then we have our blind. And we can still open and close our window. Love it. That is super cool. This is gonna be a super effective and elegant solution to having a window blind in the bedroom. And you know, another thing that I don't know I mentioned earlier is this is insulated. So when it is closed all the way up, it's gonna really help keep the sunlight from heating up the inside of the van. So I'm gonna love this. And gosh, when it is completely closed up like this, I'll have to test it tonight, but I am pretty sure this is gonna be 100% blackout. You're not gonna see any light if you're stealth camping. This is gonna be a really good touch, and I'm really excited for this. I am a little disappointed that the Revel nightstand didn't fit in here. But once again, I think if you guys have a Revel with the lower bed position, that's gonna be a really good option for you. So I'm gonna run with this, and I think I'm gonna love it. It's gonna be great. All right, I have one more thing to show you and to install, and I think you're gonna really like this. The only thing better than one new blind is 2 new blinds. Look at this. Now this is called the Revel Dinette Caddy, and this works a lot like the nightstand in the back in that it gives you lots of organizational pockets and places to put things, but it also incorporates a really awesome blind. It's insulated. One thing I wanted to say about the nightstand is they make one for both sides. So if you have a Revel and you want the ultimate in storage, you could put a Revel nightstand on either side of your van. This is gonna go over the dinette window, and this is gonna give me a place to store a lot of the stuff that I normally like to keep for my office space, because I use the dinette mostly to work and edit these videos, and having more storage space is gonna be awesome. I'm also just waiting for the day that that blind quits working. And so I'm proactively solving the problem here, and this is gonna be a wonderful solution. All right, so this one is gonna install a little differently. This uses these little grommets here that the screws are gonna go right through there, and they're gonna screw into the wall, and it's gonna hold it on nice and snug. It doesn't have the Velcro like the other one. So this is gonna be really cool. I'm excited. Let's install it now. Okay, so just like the last blind, our first step is just to remove the old blind. And so we're gonna do that real quick. These little clips come off. All right, there it is. It's removed. Boy, a couple of those screws were hard to get to. Like you saw, you might need to remove your table, get it out of the way just to get to that bottom screw. There it is. And there's, like before, there's a good collection of moths and mosquitoes in the frame. Okay, this is the place where spring cleaning has always missed. So I've got a wet paper towel here. I'm just gonna go around, I'm gonna wipe this down, get rid of all these dust bunnies that were hiding behind my blinds. It's a good chance to even wipe down the seals of the window and get everything nice and clean before I put the new blind back up. Look at all that. All right, that feels much better. I pulled out the back seat cushion just to give me a little more room to work in here. This corner where the cushion is, it kind of overlaps a little bit, so that just is gonna make it easier. Now I do have a stick-on phone mount here for my quad lock. This is cool when I'm sitting back here and working. I've got it wired into USB, so it's always powering my phone, and it just sticks right there. And I think this is gonna clear it just perfectly. It's gonna ride right on the edge of it. But if I need to, I can remount this in a better location. Okay, so let's do a little test fit and see what this looks like. This is gonna go just, oh yeah, it's gonna clear the phone mount. That is good. And we just want to center it up inside of the concavity of this recess. We want to just get it where it just fills the void. It's actually cut perfectly to fit in the Revel, because it is made just for the Revel. But then I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna put these screws in and I'm gonna screw it into place. I think that is gonna be a really nice addition. Okay, now the blind will come with these screws. Let's see there. One thing I've been really impressed with the VanMade Gear is their packaging. When they shipped this to me, it was packaged impeccably. It was laid out in the box. It had little pieces of foam to keep it from even getting a wrinkle in it. It was really well done. So hats off to you guys. And it does come with a bag of these little black screws. And these are what we're gonna use to mount this to the wall. Okay, now unlike the Velcro, where I could reposition it after the fact, this is getting directly screwed into the wall. So I gotta make sure that the very first screw I put in, it lays out exactly like I want it to. And I'm just gonna have to kind of eyeball it to some degree, but I wanna make sure that when I smooth it out, it's not going too far one direction or the other. And I think about right there looks pretty good. Okay, and I think to check alignment, I'm gonna open the window too, and I'm gonna see where this lines up. Maybe this is a good way to figure it out, is to align it with the window itself. And then that will be my reference point. All right, this is the game of measure twice, cut once, or in this case, screw once. I think I'm happy with this. Here we go. Now, just like before, you don't want to over tighten these because then it'll drill out the plastic. We want it just to be getting tension and then back off from there. I watched the video on how to install this, and they brought up a really good point in that you want to maybe start with this center one and then smooth the blind out, almost kind of putting a little tension under it and stretching it so you don't end up with a gap up here. And I think I'm going to do just that. I'm smoothing it and pressing it, and then I'm going to screw this second screw in. All the while, I'm trying to make sure that it's basically level and in that spot. And I think this looks pretty good. So let's see. Here we go. There it is. All right, we're committed now. So I'm going to actually smooth this really good, so this black trim edge at the top is actually nice and level and straight. There we go. That looks good. Okay, now we've got another screw here and here. There's a couple on the top. We've got some in the middle, some hiding here in between these two pockets. And then in the bottom, let's see. Yep, there's one here, here in the middle. And as you probably could have guessed, there's only one in the center down here at the bottom. And that's gonna honestly connect this thing really well. I don't have any doubts this is gonna be a really good connection. The whole time I'm doing this, I'm gonna be smoothing this and pushing it to the outside so it's a nice snug fit and there's no wrinkles in it.
All right, what do you think? It's got little pockets here for my phone to go in. That's really nice. Keep all kinds of stuff there. I've got zip pockets over here. I've got zip pockets along the bottom. Boy, this is gonna be wonderful. And then just like the other one, I have the really nice blinds here that I could either just drop them down or I could even, I think I can roll these up and just secure them right here. That is great. And you can get full ventilation if you want to. And you also got the bug screen. And then to latch the window, it's as simple as that. It's even got a little cup holder here. And it's on bungees too. It'll take a cup that's much larger than it looks like initially. It's also insulated, which is gonna be great. I sometimes will feel the heat coming through these windows, and being able to seal this up, it's gonna be really great. Wow, look at that. Great job, VanMade Gear. You guys are making some really cool products just for Sprinter vans in general, and there are Revel specific blinds and products just like this one. So go on their website, check it out. There's gonna be a link in the description down below. And if you guys are needing any type of sewn gear for your vans, I think you're gonna love this stuff. I'm gonna be really excited to use this over the next few days and get all my little pockets figured out and decide what I wanna put where. This is gonna be awesome. Thanks so much, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope this is something that maybe your blinds in your Revel van are working perfectly now, but maybe someday they're gonna be like mine and they're gonna surprise you and quit working. In that case, check out VanMade Gear. I think they'll have something for all of you. And it's honestly got my wheels turning that maybe there's a few other things that I should think about swapping out in our Revel van. That'll be a future video. Until then, I'm gonna keep using and enjoying these, and I'll give you guys little reports down the road, how they're doing and what I think of them. But until then, I hope I see you guys somewhere over the horizon. Take care, guys. We're out of here. We're gonna zip it up.